Welcome back. You're watching Commodity Champions, and the diamond industry is seeing a rise in popularity of lab-grown diamonds, also known as green diamonds. Why are they garnering more attention from consumers, especially the Gen Z and millennials? Lab-grown diamonds don't cause as much environmental harm. They have a high potential for creativity, and they are much cheaper than the natural diamonds. To understand this developing trend, I am now joined by Smit Patel. He's director at Greenlab Diamond. Smit, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And well, yes, this is an area which has taken the world by a storm with the kind of awareness, understanding, almost everybody Googling up. Wherever you sit, people are discussing on what the lab-grown diamonds are about and how much are they priced and what all and where all can you find them and etc. But I really want to understand from 2015, when it wasn't so much of a buzzword, to 2024, where almost everybody understands about it, how has been the last 10 years for you?
Thank you so much for having me on the show, firstly. I would like to say the product speaks for itself. We have not had any mass marketing as of yet for lab-grown diamonds. The consumers are the ones who have been finding out about this through word of mouth, through understanding how this product is made. The transparency of the product is available everywhere on the internet. And I think that's the most attractive point to the consumer. The process, the transparency of this diamond is really available for everyone to see. And the product itself speaks for itself and has been promoted like in the same manner.
Smit, I understand that there were a few who started this, and now in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, there has been an influx of newer companies who want to be part of lab-growns. How many reactors are there right now? How many units and how many more companies in the last 5 years which are now part of this business?
I would like to split this in two different verticals. The gems, the cutting and polishing industry that has been very popular in Surat. I would like to actually say that most of the factories, most of the big names have started a vertical in which they cut and polish lab-grown diamonds. That has been very good for the city. That has been very good for the hardworking employees that have been associated with this industry. And it has given a new blank canvas, I would like to say. The second part of this is the jewelry industry as well. The lab-grown jewelry market has been expanding as we speak. We had an amazing JCK show. Till now, the most common goods that were being sold were the low-hanging designs, the common studs, the rings. But like you rightly said, this has opened up a creative, new direction creatively, where people are coming up with new designs, new jewelry products, using diamonds in different ways to enhance the jewelry. And that is where lab-grown has been shining the most.
Smit, also, the only thing that the lab-growns do not take so well is the pricing part of it. Yeah. How are you addressing that?
So we knew the day when this industry was coming up, there is no monopoly of such sorts, and competition was going to drive the pricing down. But I believe the market has pretty much reached a very stable scenario in which the demand and the supply of what kind of diamonds your factory produces, what niche you're working on, will drive the pricing of the product. So, our reactors, for example, we can grow every diamond above 10 carats, but that doesn't make sense for us to do. So as a company, we have to decide what the future prediction of the demands from different places around the world is and plan a strategy accordingly. I think that will be a bigger driver of this industry rather than anything else.
But the kind of volatility that we've seen in prices, Smit, how is industry overall addressing it? I mean, I get your point that there are too many people and it still is a very fragmented one. You still are yet to form a proper council and come together and deal with this, collectively. But until then, and how much time do you see for that to come in? Because until that is fixed, I'm assuming the pricing and the resale issues are something that you'll have to continue to deal with.
I think this industry was in the teething period as of now. We didn't know where it could go. Everyone was just jumping in because it was a new industry. But I think now more strategic planning and more creative thinking towards this product has been taking place as we speak. There has been an uptick in some prices in particular products where it wasn't seen before in the previous 3-4 years, where we only saw drops. So that's a very positive sign for this industry. We did know that the prices were going to get corrected because it's a new industry. The price point that it started at was very high because the supply was very low and the demand was much more than what we expected it. So therefore, the pricing was very high. The cost of this product has not decreased in the previous years. It is only the supply that has increased, transparency has increased, and hence the prices have corrected, I would say, not dropped.
Okay. How have you seen the growth really within Indian markets and the global markets as well? We do understand that whether it's about natural diamonds or lab growns, US continues to be the big market there. So when it comes to lab growns, and there are various ways of making it, Smit, I was reading somewhere that there are 22 ways of creating lab grown diamonds, but we all know of those two which perhaps are the most credible. So take us through that too.
Yeah. So, the first diamond was actually created in 1952. So the technology has always been evolving. Of course, the CVD technology is the latest technology that is available and adapted by most of the Indian growers. And the diamonds that are created through CVD technology are the purest form of lab-grown diamonds out there. So I think that is the future for now. The second part about the demand or where how the markets are reacting. In America, 2020, there were 30% retailers that kept lab-grown diamonds. In 2023, it became 80%. That kind of jump has only been seen because the people wanted this product and the demand was rising. And speaking about India, we see a similar trend. India is today where America was a few years ago. The demand has just started, the spiraling effect has begun, and people have started to ask for diamonds, lab-grown diamonds as well. So a lot of new people will be introduced to diamonds, and that is thanks to lab-grown diamonds.
Smit, earlier, a couple of years ago, perhaps it was a shop-in-shop kind of opportunity that the lab-growns had. But a lot of people that I'm speaking to are also opening standalone shops,
Yes.
stores, etc., which are only giving lab-grown. Is there that kind of a demand there?
Yeah, I would like to add that kind of things are happening faster than anyone expected. So we did expect a few stores to come up in India in the coming years, but the amount of stores that are coming in each and every city and not particular region. This is happening in Delhi, this is happening in Hyderabad, this is happening in north, south, east, west of India. So that's a very positive sign for this industry, and I think this is just where the journey begins. And of course, there will be a lot of ups and downs, a lot of new innovation and design and technology that will take place and drive this market forward.
Also, talk to me about what kind of growth are you anticipating going forward from here? Because yes, there was a rage, and there are a lot of reports suggesting that the rage is done with, and now the kind of growth that we saw perhaps in last 2 or 3 years is not what you will see a replica of in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, of course, when the industry is new, we see a much faster growth because it was a completely blank industry. There were not a lot of players. Now that the competition is increasing, I think strategic growth is what people will be striving towards, making their company go towards specific niches, even in the lab-grown industry. And I think that's where the space for growth is going to come from. Secondly, the jewelry segment is just at the nascent stage. Like I mentioned previously, the designs that are coming out right now are just the basics because that was the demand. Now people are asking for more creative. The same people have bought the basics, want to explore. They want to create new designs. They want to understand. They want to be comfortable wearing new designs. And that's where lab-grown diamond's second era in the jewelry will start.
Okay. Smit, also, a final question, because all sectors are looking at the new government and the budget that's upcoming. What are you expecting in sense of lab-growns?
So we have had tremendous support from the government for the lab-grown industry, mainly because, it is a completely made in India product where we are mostly not dependent on anything for imports. We use a green energy using the solar power plants or the wind power plants. We grow in India, we cut and polish in India, we set it in jewelry in India when we export it around the world. So we have always had support for this industry since the time that they've learned about, the government has learned about this segment. And we believe that this continued support will continue in the future. I believe the next segment people will look at is how we can make these factories even more green, how we can encourage them to put solar plants and wind plants to make sure that the energy they use to generate these diamonds or create these diamonds will be completely coming through solar plants or wind power plants as well.
Just time enough to squeeze in one more question, Smit, and this is about, one is of course jewelry and bespoke jewelry at that. I mean, you can create on what you want from this one, but lab-growns also have various other industrial uses that we've spoken about, talked about, read about as well. How much of that is a reality in India right now?
So most of the companies we know are working at some extent to the other to work in the industrial space. The cutting, drilling bits, optical, microprocessors. There's an endless sea of possibilities when it comes to using lab-grown diamonds in the industrial space. Of course, every company will individually have to do their own R&D, invest time and space, because the best thing is you've gotten beautiful material that is diamond, with such amazing properties at the palm of your hand. So creating things in different spaces, the potential is endless, but of course, there's a lot of hard work, R&D, competition from around the world, which we'll have to deal with and make sure that India is on top of that.
All right. Smit, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for giving us a detailed outlay on what to expect from this sector and, of course, the nitty-gritties of the business therein as well. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions. News continues on CNBC TV 18. Stay tuned.